Yo, this is Terrell from Hall of Fame and D-Line, and this is Bully Rants, and this topic is sent in by Rob Irving, which is a touchy and pretty much hard topic to get a solid answer on, and that's how far you should go with inbreeding. The basic rule of thumb that I hear from most dog men and pretty much any breed seems to be that you can inbreed as far as you can until certain bad traits start to come out and become compounded. Now the hardest part about that is every dog line, so to speak, or every blood has different characteristics that show up at different points. That's why it's no real one answer. I've seen some dogs that have been heavily inbred. I mean, like father to daughter, take those puppies and go back to the father, and the dogs come out pretty much flawless without the things that we would consider traits. Then I've seen where half brother and half sister are bred together and certain flaws just pop out of nowhere. Now there are tons and tons of variables, sorry about that, that go into there, and a lot of it just has to do with dominant genes, recessive genes, and how certain genes counteract with the opposing blood. We could be here all day to talk about that, but to put it in layman's terms is certain bloods will react differently with other bloods, and it could be from two totally different families. And the thing about it is what causes an issue is because certain other bloods have a dominant gene there that can bring out the other dominant genes a lot better in your line breedings. And you'll start to see some major flaws that come out of nowhere. And the hardest part about it is, especially with bullies, is that the genes aren't tracked as well. A lot of people hide and won't tell you the flaws or different things, the problems that they see coming out of their dogs. So it's hard for us to put together a real chart to really be able to tell what these dogs are going to do. And you have different charts like the Punnett squares and different things like that, to where you can chart the genes and start trying to figure out what's dominant, what's recessive, what works and what doesn't work. But it's going to take a lot of time. Back to the original question, as far as how far do you go with inbreeding, my basic rule of thumb is that from all your studies or whatever you do, anytime you go with an inbreeding or a heavy line breeding, you're taking the risk of coming up with some serious faults and sometimes defaults and other issues. But it's a touch and go situation to where you need to try to find a reference to see exactly how it went other places, and then that doesn't guarantee it with your dogs, but it will help you out a lot in what to expect. And like I say, the one thing with this breeding thing is because of all the other variables from the other blood and the individual dog, as far as what genes it carries, it's going to be hard. One thing I do not like to do is what I referred to earlier, is the father to the daughter, then back to the father again. I think that's going way too far. I think you have to draw the line at father to daughter, and I really don't even like that one. Half brother to half sister, that's similar as far as being my line, as far as where we would go to have it safe. I have done father to daughter when I felt like I may or may not have had another better choice, or even just pushing the lines, to be honest. And a lot of them have worked out great, and then some other ones I started to see where, yeah, this could not work. But Rob, I'm sorry I couldn't give you a definite answer, but the best part about it is just to do your studies. And like I say, if you talk about me personally, I go by about a 60 to 65% rule, to where if any blood, and I do like to go back 4 generations, if any of the blood is going to be in these puppies is over 65%, I feel like we've pushed it too far. And I always use the 4th or 5th generation as my markers to where I really start to concentrate at. But it gives you a good way to go. And like I say, you just have to really study the bloods you're using, because certain bloods act horribly with itself because of the heavy inbreeding that was done beforehand. So a lot of studying, and like I say, the line for me is 60 to 65%, and pretty much just I like the half brother to half sister thing. I think that's to put it the easiest way. I think that's about as far as I would go. Half brother to half sister. You know, cousins to cousins, as long as the cousins aren't heavily inbred, and you see how this thing can keep going. But I hope I helped you out some. But you know, just really pay close attention to how the dogs are responding with each other. And in my opinion, some people are going to argue with me, definitely try to stay away from as much as you possibly can the father to daughter thing or the mother to son thing. And it works sometimes, but for the most part, that's where we sort of reaching at. Alright, if you have any more questions, hit me up. Thanks for your question. Thanks y'all for your time. Thanks.